The Rams beat the Ravens 17-3. However, it was an ugly win against a Ravens team not playing Lamar Jackson. So it is clear that the Rams have multiple issues they need to solve if they still want to be Super Bowl contenders. For the Rams, obviously the biggest concern right now is the fact that Puka Nacua left the game with a hamstring injury, one that is apparent and making him already uncertain for next week. Now, the good thing is, walked off on his own power, didn't leave on tragic situations like we've seen already this season on a cart. So he still will be able to play for sure, I believe in a couple of weeks at worst. However, when he wasn't in, you could see kind of the effect that it had on the offense. Weirdly, in this game, the offense was kind of better with him out. I don't know why that was, but I think that was more because of Ravens' mistakes. But they really weren't doing well all game, and the Ravens made a plan to stop Puka. Puka only had 2 catches and 28 yards for him in this game. Not really as much as he's normally gotten, but throughout the season, 54 catches, 600 yards, 616 yards. The receptions, number 1 in the league. The yards, number 2. So he's just been explosive and consistent all season long. And obviously, the biggest part for that Rams offense to function, other than, I guess, Matthew Stafford, of course. So for Puka, if they don't have him, they are not going to be the same team, obviously. And the issue is he kind of gets hurt a little often. So you hope that this isn't a sign. I say that obviously keep him out. Don't play him too much. You don't need to, right? Now, the problem is you kind of do, but you're going to need him at the end of the season more than anything. Where last year you saw he was kind of in and out of the lineup and then played down the stretch. If he's hampered, you're going across the pond. You're playing the Jags. It's a really good team. It's a really tough kind of game to go across, play that game. They might just have to play that without Puka. And the problem is, with how tough the NFC West is looking right now, that game might cost you something. However, for them to be where they want to be at the end of the season, at the end of the day, you just got to sit him out, however long you got to sit him out until he's fully healthy and ready to be Puka again, because they are going to need to ride him into the postseason. Something else a little strange, too, is a side note to that. Stafford a little off. You wonder, sometimes it's weird in cold weather. He's not as good, obviously, as in a dome. We've seen it already this year. It wasn't even cold, but just outside. In Philadelphia, not his best game. He was kind of errant, missing some passes that he hasn't really missed. And then you get him inside, like last week against the 49ers, or when they were playing the Colts, and he's just been dotting people. Right now, it just seems like a clear inside-outside thing. Not that he was bad. He didn't throw any picks, which is huge, but definitely not the Matthew Stafford game that you were expecting or looking for, specifically the couple of weeks he had, and mainly the defense that he's playing being 32nd in the league in points allowed and looking pathetic. And I think we saw some open people. Devontae Adams, really not the whole game, but a couple times Devontae Adams open that he normally hits. So obviously not against a team like the Ravens, but you wonder if they got to play outside in that environment. Now, to be fair, against my Eagles last year, Matthew Stafford looked great in that environment, caught me off guard, just took a little bit to get it going. And even this game, you kind of saw once he got it going, he was throwing dots. But you don't always want to take that long. And I mean, not every team has Matthew Stafford anyway, so end of the day, at least you got him when he starts heating up. Honestly, what I think is the biggest issue right now for this team might just, that's not cornerback, obviously, but that didn't get exposed against the Ravens, is Joshua Carty. What happened to him? I have my opinions, but the facts first. This year, 10 for 14. He's already missed 4 field goals. That's 71%. Last year, I believe, 28 for 33, missing 5 the entire season and hitting, I don't remember the exact number, so if my math is off, it's not real math. But his exact percentage, 87%. This game missed one badly. I mean, from the 30, it just doing right off the upright. Awful. The one he did make looked like it was going to miss from 36 yards. It was slicing fast right through the air. He's missed a couple. He missed one against the San Francisco 49ers, and he missed two against the Eagles. One of them was blocked. No, both were blocked, actually. And those were his first misses of the season. So you wonder if those blocks may be in his head a little bit. I'm not really sure. We've also seen him in that 49ers game kick it short on the scrub kick. So it's interesting what's going on right now. Now, maybe same thing with Stafford, but even to a larger degree, Cardi might just be a dome kicker and a grass kicker. And you see this all the time, especially in colder games when those dome kickers or warm weather kickers got to go outside. It is a problem. And Cardi right now is extremely shaky. So, 10 for 14, not a good start to the season at all. He is still young, 23, so ups and downs of an early player. He didn't have these issues last year, but now he definitely seems to be having them, and you wonder if he can just get out of that rut going forward. Now, one thing that was excellent, the defense. And the Rams' defensive line might be the best in the league, with all due respect to the Giants. These guys scream. And the issue with it is we all know Jared Verse. Coming into the year, we knew Jared Verse was a great player and kind of the cementing piece of that D-line that's kind of separated him. However, Byron Young, he's a monster. And he's been at least statistically better than Jared Verse this year by a good amount. Maybe it's because you now know about Jared Verse. You got to double him. Fisk had 8.5 sacks this year. He hasn't done that this year. But last year, he was definitely screaming. And so now you want to put all that attention over there. And Byron Young has been screaming. 7.5 sacks for Byron Young so far this year. I believe that's second or third in the league. As a team, they're fourth in sacks with 3.2 a game. They scream. And late in the game, when Tyler Huntley came in, but when they finally knew that the Ravens had to throw the football, that pressure was all over Huntley, especially in the red zone, and they were getting huge stops because of it. That defensive line definitely can help you in big games. It helped them last year in the playoffs. Sam Darnold, they had 9 sacks on him when the Vikings played the Rams. Now, it was the biggest reason to me they won that game. And they almost beat the Eagles with 7 sacks. We've seen at times this year just dominate, and this game was none of those games. Obviously, no Lamar Jackson, but still, their defensive line was amazing. One issue, though, stopping the run, not great. Not exactly what you would want to see from that team lining up 122, especially when you know Derrick Henry is going to run it. Now, just because you know Derrick Henry is going to run it does not make it easy to stop. But we've seen them kind of in previous weeks, like Taylor got off and then would have had a big play, but it got taken back. Now McCaffrey didn't go anywhere, but we've just seen the issues on that defense. So even though they had a good game this game, definitely got it. I'm sorry, it's the Ravens with no Lamar Jackson. What do you want me to do? But the D-line definitely, at the end of the day, you got to win the game, and that defensive line did exactly that at the end of the game. Now, going forward, like we talked about, you get the Jags in London, you blokes. Next Sunday, that's a huge game for both these teams. And with the 49ers at 4-2 and the Seahawks at 4-2, and you've already lost to the 49ers, I don't think they've played the Seahawks yet. That's a big game. Try to keep pace with those teams. You get a bye week, and then you get the Saints after your bye week. Maybe not even the team you'd want after a bye. Maybe you want a better team, but whatever. You get the Saints. Maybe that's a little pick-me-up if you do lose to the Jags. After that, though, it gets rough. 49ers, Seahawks, Buccaneers. So I think those 3 games are going to do a lot to determine where they end up in this season, because it's a wide range of variance right now from the Rams from how they've looked. They could be Super Bowl contenders, or they could miss the playoffs because the division is that difficult, and the NFC has more good teams right now than the AFC as far as record-wise. So for the Rams going forward, big game against the Jags. a team that likes to force turnovers, maybe with no Puka. If you win that game going into your bye, that could be huge for them and really might propel them through the end of this season.